Did you hear anything about who found him, how he was found, or the 911 call or anything like that?
Yes,
Yeah,
and I can't talk about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here to get to the bottom of it, though, it sounds like.
We pretty much know what's going on, but all we want to do is just talk about the man, the musician.
The first Diddy party I went to was at Prince's house. So you want to go to Prince's house to the Diddy party where Tyrese is performing and Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher are swinging on swings. That is what's happening on the other side of the wall. And so the one thing that makes this party different than a Jamie Foxx party or any other celebrity party that wrangles a bunch of young women or guys or whatever too, is that Diddy didn't let you bring your security in the party.
Here's the twist. Some fans are convinced Prince was gearing up to blow the lid off something way bigger than just music rights. We're talking about deep-rooted manipulation, shady rituals, and straight-up exploitation lurking behind the glitz of the entertainment industry. And guess whose name keeps getting dragged into the mix again? Diddy. His name keeps coming up in the exact same dark conversations. Wild, right? Now here's where it gets even more intense. Sheila E, yes, the Sheila E, has reportedly decided to finally break her silence after staying quiet for years. And what she's allegedly saying is chilling. According to multiple sources, Sheila E claims Prince was trying to protect the world from something way darker than we ever imagined. She says he was carrying a weight, a secret so heavy most people wouldn't even be ready to handle it. Now let's rewind for a second. Sheila E met Prince back in 1977 during a concert where she performed alongside her father. Fast forward to 1984, she signed with Warner Brothers and teamed up with Prince to work on her debut solo album, The Glamorous Life. Prince not only co-wrote the title track, but played on it too. And that's not all. Sheila E even opened for him during his legendary Purple Rain tour in 84 and 85. Right after the Purple Rain madness, Sheila E took things to the next level. She officially signed with Prince's label, Paisley Park Records, but that was just the start. She became the musical director for two of his biggest tours, Sign of the Times and Love Sexy. And she wasn't just behind the scenes. Sheila was everywhere. She played on multiple Prince tracks, popped up on several of his albums throughout the 80s, and even showed up in his iconic concert film, Sign of the Times. She rocked the stage with him at the Brit Awards and later joined him again on tour in 2007. But here's where things take a turn, because this wasn't just a musical connection. Sheila E. and Prince had something real, something personal that fans still can't stop whispering about. They weren't just collaborators, that there was something way deeper happening between them. Picture this. During a live performance, Prince looks across the stage, locks eyes with her, and out of nowhere, he mouths the words, "Marry me." No script, no setup, just raw emotion in the middle of the show. Reports say it was totally unplanned. And soon after, the two were even briefly engaged. But for reasons still unknown, they never made it down the aisle. What really happened behind the scenes? That mystery still lingers. Now, you might have heard that Sheila E. and Prince hadn't spoken for about 5 years before he passed in 2016. That's what some reports claimed. And they say the tension came from Sheila E.'s autobiography, The Beat of My Own Drum, where she opened up about their personal relationship. But what if that's not the full story? Word from close sources says they actually made peace and reconnected in the final stretch of Prince's life. And during those private conversations, Prince allegedly confided in Sheila, not just about the music business, but about some jaw-dropping things tied to Diddy. Yeah, seriously. Prince had always been vocal about shady power players in the industry. He warned people about the ones who control the narrative, lock artists into deals, and then try to silence anyone who steps out of line. And now people are wondering, was Diddy one of the ones he was talking about? The way some folks are saying it? Yeah, girl. Prince was passionate to the core about artists getting what they deserve, owning their work, and not being puppets. He never held back when it came to calling out the system. And now those warnings are starting to look a whole lot more serious. You feel me? Prince got signed to Warner Music back in 1977, just 18 years old, and already a force in the making. Now, his first few albums from 1978 to 1981 didn't exactly blow up on the charts, but Warner kept him on board. Why? Because even then, Prince was the kind of artist labels bragged about. He had real musical chops, and Warner liked the image of backing serious talent. Then boom, 1982 hits. Just a year after MTV changed the game, Prince drops new music and finally breaks into the US top 10. He wasn't just another singer. He was a visionary who understood the power of music videos way before it was trendy. He used visuals to craft his own legend and people couldn't look away. But it didn't stop there. Once Prince had solidified his spot in the industry, he launched his own label, Paisley Park Records. It had Warner's money behind it and they handled the distribution. Sounds like a win, right? Not so fast. Even with his own label, Prince started calling out the games being played. He exposed how Warner was lowballing him and taking advantage, all while making millions off his back. Prince wasn't having it, and he made sure the world knew. Yep, we're talking about that same Warner Brothers, the one that backed Diddy too. Believe it or not, Diddy struck a deal where Warner got a whole 50% stake in his label Bad Boy Records. Under that setup, Warner took care of marketing and both digital and physical distribution for Bad Boy's entire catalog, worldwide. And this roster, it had heavy hitters like Mace, Mario Winans, Notorious B.I.G., and of course, Diddy himself. Diddy once bragged about the deal, saying that there have been a lot of boutique record labels that come and go, and we're still here. He made it sound like they cracked the code, the right money, the right structure, and the perfect partners to stay powerful in the game. But here's the kicker. The way Warner was allegedly shortchanging and controlling artists like Prince, that same blueprint showed up in how Diddy was running Bad Boy. Ain't that something wild? Let's talk about Lil Jerome. When people asked if leaving Bad Boy was his own decision, he didn't flat out say yes. Instead, he said it was a mixture of the growing pains and the pressure of the music business. Translation? Something wasn't adding up behind closed doors, and stories like his aren't rare when it comes to artists tied to Diddy's camp. Just like what Prince was warning us about. Lil Jerome said it straight. I had a nervous breakdown, and it was in Puffy's best interest to not keep the project. That's wild. It wasn't even his decision to leave Bad Boy, it was just how the situation played out. And here's the messed up part. Jerome had a full album lined up with 13 solid tracks ready to go before things fell apart. But once he hit that rough patch, Diddy didn't step in to help. He didn't wait. He just dropped him like it was nothing. And Lil Jerome isn't the only one with a story like that. Carl Thomas spoke out too. He said the reason he walked away from Bad Boy was even more heartbreaking. After his brother passed away, he was still deep in mourning when Diddy hit him up just a week later, asking when he was coming back to the studio because he had some hits for him like, seriously? No time to grieve, just get back to work. Cold. And let's not forget Biggie. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Biggie had plans to leave Bad Boy Records for a new and better deal. He wanted out. But after Biggie was killed, things got even darker. Diddy allegedly pushed everyone at Bad Boy to shift gears and focus on one thing, promoting and selling Biggie's posthumous album, Life After Death. No time to process, no pause. Just business. It was like Diddy wasn't even grieving. He was straight up obsessed with making sure that Biggie's album hit number one. Over and over in number one, top 10, top 10. That's all that seemed to matter to him. No mourning, no reflection, just charts, sales, and headlines. Now get this. Before the lawsuit started rolling in, Diddy made headlines for a different reason. He suddenly announced he was giving back publishing rights to artists signed under Bad Boy, even the former ones. At first, it sounded like a win, like he was finally making things right, but not so fast. Aubrey O'Day, one of the artists affected, quickly voiced her suspicions. She revealed she had already been sent the agreement months earlier, and it wasn't as straightforward as it looked. Around that time, other former Bad Boy artists were also being contacted about retrieving their publishing. But here's the twist. There was a catch. Sources say this whole return the rights move was less about fairness and more about control. Another tactic to manipulate and shut people up. A flashy gesture hiding a deeper motive. And guess who saw all of this long before it made the news? Prince. He'd been clocking the game way before the public caught on. And if he confided any of those secrets to Sheila E., no wonder she's just now starting to speak out. Because whatever Prince knew, it's finally catching up to the people he warned us about. Word is Sheila E. has been telling folks that Prince saw the truth about this industry way before the rest of us caught on. He wasn't blinded by the fame, the lights, or the money. He saw the dark side, and he warned people. He called out how artists were being used, robbed of their creativity, their rights, their legacy. He said it straight. It was like modern-day slavery. And Prince didn't just whisper about it. He wanted to start dropping names. For years, Sheila E. kept things respectful when talking about Prince, always keeping her words full of grace. But now, almost 10 years since his passing, she's allegedly starting to let the truth slip out. Little by little, she's been dropping hints, subtle but powerful. She said Prince carried a heavy weight, something so serious he barely spoke about it out loud, and those close to her claim he confided in her about everything, not just the personal pain, but what he believed was coming for the entire music game. Prince wasn't just trying to protect his own music, he was out here fighting the whole system, trying to expose it, trying to wake people up. He warned that some of the most powerful names in the industry were out here playing God with artists' lives, pulling strings, wrecking careers, controlling everything from behind the scenes. And now, with the spotlight heating up around Diddy and his legal mess, people are finally starting to connect the dots. Could this be what Prince was trying to tell us all along? What's even more chilling is that Prince seemed to know his time was almost up, days before it actually happened. He posted a photo of himself with a cryptic, now deleted caption that read, "Just when you thought you were safe." Let that sink in. That wasn't just a random post. It felt like a warning, a goodbye, and a red flag all rolled into one. At his final appearance in a private party at Paisley Park after he'd reportedly received some kind of medical treatment, Prince addressed the crowd with an eerie message. Wait a few days before you waste any prayers. That's deep. Like he knew something was coming and was preparing people for the fallout. And just like that, days later, Prince was found unresponsive at his Minnesota estate. He was only 57. Officials ruled his death an accidental overdose, saying he unknowingly took counterfeit Vicodin laced with fentanyl, one of the most powerful and deadly opioids out there. But not everyone's buying that story. Even Sheila E. has questioned it. She said it never fully added up. The way things went down, the timing, the warning signs, it all felt off, too off, like there was more going on behind the scenes than anyone wanted to admit. Oh no, not at all. So here's the real question. Was Prince's death really just a tragic ending to a legendary life? Or was it something way deeper, something way darker? Is Sheila E. finally getting ready to drop the truth the world wasn't ready for? And what about Diddy? How deep does his rabbit hole go? Are the stories connected more than we ever imagined? What do you think? Are we piecing together a puzzle that was meant to stay scattered? Or are we finally seeing the truth that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time?